There we go. So episode 13 of the pre-match mix we're up to. So I'm joined by Ian from Soft Lab Promotions, Kurt from Volume Bets. How are we both, lads?
Excellent for Tuesday. Not bad.
Yeah, doing good.
Brilliant. Me and Kurt were just saying before, Ian, you're the world's busiest man from your day job to your football management to your music promotions. Is there anything you don't do?
Well, yeah, I was just saying before we record that I'd love to be like a scout as well as a slash football agent. I've got a guy who, a good mate of mine, Simon Jenkins. I met him through music, big Sheffield United fan. I think he's done all the 92 grounds as well, which I'm very jealous of. Um, but his part-time job is football agency now. He's got a couple of players at League One, League Two level. But he tends to pick them up when they're like sort of 17, 18, 19, and then obviously try and get them through there's various qualifications you have to do though. So I know I'm the world's busiest man, but I'll have to do some qualifications first.
Yeah.
I've got one guy who's I'm sure he won't mind me saying, a Nigerian player who's been with my Sunday team. I was assistant manager last season, obviously manager this season, but from the first session I took 2 summers ago, he was just head and shoulders, I thought anyway, above anyone else. So he's been training with Witten Albion in Step 4. He's been playing for Runcorn Town, and now he's got a trial tomorrow night. So I'll be there watching him, see how he gets on.
I love that. How old is he? How old is he?
21.
Brilliant.
So he plays for my Sunday team. He's a bit of a luxury player, really. But he came on at the weekend, and his pace in the last 20 minutes, when you're playing against a Sunday league team, that their fitness tends to go. We just rinsed him down the far side. So, but he got booked himself for initiating a card. Yeah, he got fouled, got the free kick, and as he got up, he went like that to the ref. And his English is good, to be fair. But yeah, he got booked, and then he was like panicking about it. I said, mate, to be fair, the ref is old school. He said it. Arseholes, as we've discussed previously, will put all the paperwork through and fucking you know, when this guy's like, no more cards. There's no cards today. Won't put them through. So, yeah. But it's 15 quid for a yellow, and I think 45 straight red. So,
yeah. Have you ever seen any of your other players do that? I don't think I've ever seen Sunday League, Ian.
I think it's more of a bit of lost in translation, really. So, he has got a story which obviously I won't share because it's quite a sad one, really. That's why he ended up in Britain, but we won't get all political on this podcast, but they're not all bad people that everyone makes out. So, no, he's a really good lad. I did say to him when he's playing in the Champions League, you know, not to forget me, like, so.
I love it. There was a lad I was following a little bit at Walsall. I think it was Walsall, where he came from nowhere. He went up quite quickly. He was scoring goals for full at Walsall. I'll have to see where he's at.
Was he
Turkish
or Albanian?
No, what was his name? Was it Kone, was it? Or something along those
lines? Richard Kone. So the story about him is he was playing in the Homeless World Cup, wasn't he, about 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Scored daft like 45 goals in a season, maybe a couple of levels below, maybe like step 6, step 7. And then he had a trial at Wickham. Done really well with them. Now he's at QPR. So, but he's scoring at QPR Championship level. So.
As you saw, I haven't even noticed that. As you saw,
Richard Kone, I think he scored at the weekend. So, whether he'll get to the Premier League or not, I don't know. But you know, he's played at Championship level. I'm sure he could go and play in Europe now somewhere, or like Scottish Premiership or something like that. But without going off on a random tangent here, there's like. I've been to watch Motherwell a few times, and they've got a few like, you know, academy players that have been released by academies. Like there's got one lad from Leicester, but he's just come back from the African Cup of Nations playing for Zimbabwe. So he's scored like 15 goals already. He'll get snapped up by a bigger club, probably Rangers or Celtic, knowing that neck of the woods. But so it can be done, like.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we'll see, mate.
And how is your Sunday League team going?
Yeah, so great win at the weekend. We're playing the same team again this Sunday, but in the league at home. I've got 2 home games coming up. You'll have to come over for a game, you know. I know your weekends are precious with your family and stuff, but if you ever get a Sunday when your missus is doing something else and your daughter's doing something else, come over and watch because we go to a nice pub afterwards. But you can do like a post-match interview with our captain or something like that.
Yeah, we'll do that. The pub bit sealed it, I think, hasn't it?
Well, there's chip butties all being well, all paid for. Well, not all. We get given chip butties, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we won 5-0 at the weekend. We had a striker making his debut. We had a photographer come down as well. I think I shared it on the group. Big shout to Mohawk Focus for coming down. It just makes a difference when you got a professional photographer there, really. Some of the shots he got were brilliant. And I'd probably say it was our strongest 16 we've had. Like, we put a poll out on Monday for training. We've got like 20 lads want to come training on Thursday. It's so hard picking that 16 and the 11 because the team's just getting better. We're 9 points off top with 3 games in hand still.
It's an achievement. You've still got 20 lads interested at this stage of the season, because sometimes what happens is the ones that aren't playing think, well, I'll go and play elsewhere. I'm not turning up. So it's an achievement in itself.
Funny you should say that. We had 2 lads text me at the start of last week. Any chance I can come back? Who left? One because he was a party animal out till 5-6 on a Sunday morning. He put like a video in our WhatsApp group eating pizza about 5:30 on a Saturday night, Sunday morning. I was like, well, you're not going to be there tomorrow, are you? And just never responded. But apparently he's got a girlfriend now. He's settled down. He's joining the RAF anyway. You know, he's a great lad. I'd hate to play against him. He's bloody like a unit, like. And then another lad is who left wants to come back. So probably got about 25 signed on. But yeah, two home games coming up now. Hope the rain holds off, and we can catch up on them 3 games in hand pretty soon. So.
That's what Sunday League is all about, though. Pizza, 5:30 Saturday morning, turn up Sunday for the game, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I knew you weren't going to turn up, but he's a good lad, and a lot of lads were pissed off with him because he was still out on the piss. I said, just go on the piss Friday night instead, but not going to listen to me, is he? So.
No, not on that. Not on your nights out. I don't think so.
No.
Well, listen, let's talk a little bit about Liverpool and 1 or 2 things that probably caught my eye this week, which I was a little bit surprised about. So I might even come to Kurt first on this, get his viewpoints on it. But I've seen players that are due out of contract for Liverpool. So we've actually got this summer, we've got Canate, Robertson, Freddie Woodman coming out of contract. The following summer, we've got Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, Gomez, Jones, and Endo. So the first question I'd probably ask on that, out those 9 players, Kurt, how many of them do you think will sign a new contract over the next 18 months?
Looking at the list, at least 4, I think. I think Robbo is going to stay now, it looks like. Unless Freddie wants to go, I think he gets signed back too. Whenever they have like a third they really like, and unless they really want to go and go play somewhere, they tend to stick around. I think Van Dijk will sign again, and I think Jones will sign. I'm up in the air about Gomez because I think everybody wants Gomez to stay, and it was like that last time, but Gomez seems to really like it despite everything, and he keeps sticking around longer than I expect him to because he should be playing probably week in and week out somewhere, but he seems to be okay with everything around him, so we'll see. Salah is a we'll see. Kanate, I don't think so. Kanate is the only one I look at and think like 90% no. Like, I'd be pretty surprised if he stuck around at this point. Number 1, I think his head's turned somewhere else, whether it's a real club or not, whether he has like a real offer or not. I think just the rumors enough have turned it. And 2, I think Liverpool are at a stage with him now where he may be asking for a lot and just not proving it now on the field. It's been all year. He's been dreadful, really. So I'm not sure he comes back. And Alisson is an interesting one also. Alisson's obviously incredibly good, but we also have 40 million pounds sitting on the bench, and that will have to be resolved, whether it's Marmadashvili going or Allison going. Somebody will most likely have to go before that situation comes up. So at least 4. I think it comes around closer to 5 or 6, but we'll see.
Yeah, I put a post on LinkedIn and Facebook just to try and drum up a bit of activity for this podcast as much as anything else. And it was pretty mixed on the players, on who they'd sign, who they'd want to sign, who they think could sign. But most people said, yeah, Canate, he's gone. And a couple of one of the comments was, I'd drive him to Tranmere tomorrow, but I don't think they'd take him, was one of the comments.
That was just a bit harsh, then. I mean, there is some gems in League Two, like, but bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the comments which I thought was quite good on that. Brilliant. But let's talk a little bit, probably about 2 things we've spoke about quite a bit. Canate, we've already spoke about then. Slot, so some interesting stats on Slot. 18 points from his last 12 league games. Failed to beat all 3 promoted teams, something that hasn't happened since 1981.
That really pissed me off.
And someone mentioned, statistically, it's the worst calendar year performance by a Liverpool manager. So how are we feeling being a manager, Mr. T? How are we feeling? How are we feeling about Slot this week?
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I think the FA Cups and the Champions League are massive for him, really. I think so. But it just pissed me off that I didn't watch the Burnley game. I couldn't even last watch a match today. I just saw the goal and then. But to not beat them 3 at home, shit. I think it is shit. But I think, in my opinion, obviously I know for a call, but I think they'll play to the summer and then Javi will come in. That's what I think is going to happen. But I might be wrong. I don't know. I don't have any contacts. In fact, I know the only person I do know is not even connected was another guy from the Anfield Rap, John, who probably didn't even get any inside info. But it's yeah, when he signed it like that, it is worrying, mate. But we're still 4th. We're still in 2 cup competitions.
Yeah. He steadied the ship, hasn't he? He steadied the ship. We're unbeaten in about 11. But again, I think what a lot of fans are getting frustrated with when you read the other ones, they're probably frustrated that it's a bit slow and it's a bit boring, isn't it? And they're not going out. But I think he's just tried to stop losing, hasn't he?
We get them people from Redmen TV. Again, maybe a bit controversial. I'm not a big fan of them, but I saw a clip where they described it as clinical football. Just like you say, don't want to lose. But I've been listening to a lot of Leroy Senior's interviews and comments and going back on his Strasbourg stuff because I even made a note of it because I really liked it for my sort of team talk. But basically, he said be dominant in the final third. I don't think we are really. We're just fucking, like you say, a bit slow. So.
There's a few teams I like watching them. I like watching Brentford because they get it forward and get it in the box, and Bournemouth because they tend to have lots of shots. I like watching them too. But a lot of the other teams, Arsenal, and I mean, even at the weekend, I watched Man City, Man United. Man City, I don't think had a shot on target all game, probably 1 or 2. I watched Newcastle away to Wolves. They were again.
Yeah. That was shite, wasn't it? I watched both of them games Sunday.
Yeah,
it was like 2 shots on goal all game.
Crazy, isn't it? And the thing when I was watching it as well with Eddie Howe as well, and again, we're not one to probably criticise him, is he just made changes like for like. He took the striker off and brought Weiser on, and he done the same. And Man City were the same. They changed 2 or 3 players, but they just kept the same pattern. They didn't mix up or try and change it or go to a plan B. So there seems to be a lot of teams that play that slow, progressive football at the moment.
Yeah. I didn't watch the game last night, but I was thinking about you, Kurt. I was going to have a few quid on both teams to score. I didn't actually put it on in the end, but I imagine the odds wouldn't have been that great. But 91st minute equaliser, wasn't it? So it's always the way, and the bet you're going to put on always comes in. So
yeah, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, since you mentioned that Brighton manager, they seem to be winning most weeks or drawing.
I just like his story, mate. Slightly, I was going to say infatuated. That's the wrong word. Slightly obsessed with Sampaoli. I love their story, mate. I love the whole.
Yeah, like taking bits from these people, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's like a bunch of amateurs on a Sunday night. His team talks, I think, are brilliant.
Yeah. Well, listen, Liverpool's next 5 fixtures, I'll get them up as well. Let's see how confident we are on these. So give me one sec. So next 5 league fixtures, because there's a couple of Champions League games in there as well. We've got Bournemouth away, Newcastle home, City home, Sunderland away, Forest away. Ian, what would you take from those 5 games? What keeps Slot ticking over?
What's that? 15 points? No, yeah, 15 points. Good question, mate. I'd say 4 wins and a draw, mate. But
Yeah,
being out trying to be glass half full here, but City. Sometimes it's like my team. I follow Albion. We've not beaten the bottom 6. Anyone in the bottom 6, we're like 10th or 11th. But we've beaten most of the top 6, so we turn up against the good footballing sides, like Bury are top of the league, they'll piss the league. But it just feels like we're, like you say, with Sunderland, Leeds, who's the other one, Burnley. Just I don't know, mate. So yeah, 4 wins and a draw.
but we'll take that. We'll take
Yeah.
4 as well. Be happy with that, wouldn't we? No,
Good
great.
time.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk a little bet and then let's get stuck in. So last week, some great picks. Last week, to be fair, you picked Chelsea, didn't you? Came in. I think you said Everton away to Villa, which was a really good shout as well. I didn't fancy Everton. I fancied Villa, but another great shout.
They've done well, Everton.
I think you picked another result as well to win. The only one that probably really went against you or stood out for me was Man City. Again, you picked Man City. Again, I would have backed Man City every day of the week. Who would have thought that United would beat City? So thoughts on your last week's picks, Kurt, and what have you got this week, buddy?
Yeah, I thought we did pretty good last week. We also had both teams to score no in the Arsenal game, and that finished 0-0. None of them scored, so that worked out. We only needed one of them to have on 0, but 2 get there. And City, I don't know. I think there's something genuine happening behind the scenes at City. I think I don't know if it's the charges or if Pep is kind of just done with it or whatever it may be. But they're, one, not playing well, and 2, you get some of those things coming out. They were looking at Maresca for a little bit, and there was something on beIN the other day where they were like, don't be surprised if Pep decided that this week he was just had enough, stuff like that. So we'll see. They're 2-0 down to Bodo as we're doing the podcast now. Yeah, they're 2-0 down, and it's the 40th minute, but they were 2-0 down inside 25. So they're just not playing well and might just be worth avoiding, I guess. But last week was pretty good, despite the City thing. 2 this week and a fun one. West Ham draw no bet. They're home against Sunderland. That first game they played each other, that finished 3-0 Sunderland, but Sunderland scored on like all 3 of their chances, and they weren't even really chances. They were half chances that they just fired in a header from like the penalty spot on a corner, and they did the similar thing on a free kick and a really great Isidore goal from like outside the box as the game was ending. And West Ham have been a little bit better. They're not like lighting the league on fire or anything, but they've been a little bit better. And outside of the Palace result, Sunderland have kind of come back down to earth just a little bit. So I kind of think West Ham get over the line there. And then this one's a parlay or an accumulator. It's 2. Arsenal draw no bet. They're playing United. And Newcastle draw no bet. They're playing Villa. I think Villa are coming down a little bit as well. And we're going to go against Villa again. And then a bit of a feel-good result for United. They wallop City a little bit. That finished 2-0, and that could have been like 4. And they're not playing anything else. They get a result and they go a week and they come back and play games. So they've been sitting on themselves a little bit over City. You get a week after killing a rival, and then you go to the Emirates and play an Arsenal team who don't let anything happen. They don't let you move. They don't let you break. They don't let any of that stuff happen. And I think Arsenal kind of get one over there. And then the fun accumulator one is I got Chelsea money line, Chelsea to win the game. They're playing Palace. Palace look just dead in the water all of a sudden. Just like everything's gone wrong there. All the players seem to dislike the manager. The manager hates the club. The good players are leaving. Like Mateta's probably leaving. Like everything looks gone. Brentford and Forest, both teams to score. Yes, Brentford, I like to score anytime, but Forest love these games where they can just sit and break. So that's like one of the few matchups for them where they look good scoring. And then Leeds and Everton under 3.5. That pays out 3.5 to 1. That one.
Of it. I don't know whether I'll have to fact check this as well, but did I read that this city charges us into its 9th year? I think that this whole thing with City and they're into the
Is
9th
it?
year now.
Is it? That might make sense. I think a lot of people are waiting for it to like come along, but like the Chelsea one took like a year and a half, and there were 2 charges. Like there are a lot of charges you got to check in on. I'm pretty confident it gets done in the summer. It seems like it's gonna get done in the summer, but the timeline at least makes sense considering the Chelsea one. The Everton one, they had like 1 charge. It took like a year. They do take a while, and City do have 115 of them. So at
Yeah,
least the timeline makes sense to me, but it should be done in the summer. And maybe there's just a genuine blow up with City over the summer. Like Pep leaves and Holland leaves and they lose 15 points and everything else and they have to reset a little bit, but
mm.
they look a little bit out of it at the moment.
Yeah. I seen that. It was Rich Keys who said about the City and Pep, wasn't it? That Pep's going to leave by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Uh, it's quite interesting, I think, as well, that City have spent probably about 450 million in the last 12 months, and I wonder whether they know a transfer ban is incoming based on the case. That's why they're buying all these players. And I know we spent a bit at Liverpool. We also sold a bit, didn't we? And lost a few players, but it does feel like it's coming to a head now, doesn't it?
Yeah. And everyone else doesn't like City spend like every year. Like it doesn't matter what's going on. Every January they spend 100 million. Every summer they spend 200. Like we spent 400 over the summer and we sold a bunch and we didn't buy anybody for like 2 years before that. Like that gets like left out. Like we just didn't buy anybody for 2 years, it felt like. And Arsenal are very similar to what we do and stuff. Like City just like pop up and they're like, oh, Marmouche isn't working, so
Let's
here's
get
another 60 million, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, for 20 million seems a really good deal to me. Although his wages apparently are 300k a week, aren't they?
Crazy number for him. For anyone else to match, it was never going to happen, and for him to turn down, probably not going to happen either.
Now, listen, great picks again, great insight. Thank you very much, Kurt. Mr. T, what have you got on the music playlist and why?
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple of games for Friday night. I do like a Friday night game, as you know. Talking about San Pauli. It's the Hamburg derby on Friday. So it's San Pauli v Hamburg at San Pauli. The tickets are just like rocking all shit. Can't get hold of them. And an Inter play Pisa. Pisa was the first Italian team I ever went to see. So my heart would say
Yeah,
San Pauli and Pisa, but
just to interject on this,
yeah,
you know when Kurt bets, he used
yeah,
stats and data and formulas and stuff.
yeah.
Are you a bit like me? We use more just our intuition and look for the bit of a story and go with the heart.
Yeah, it can just always the heart, mate. Yes, San Pauli and Pisa, both teams I've been to see play in the home grounds, so that's why I've just picked them too. So
Soft spot for them.
yeah. So Pisa was. I've always wanted to go and watch footy in Italy. We went to watch Pisa v Parma a couple of years back with my lad, and so I'll pick them too and have a little
Yeah.
five on them myself.
I might have a five on them myself as well.
Yeah, but no, music wise, it's been good because I've been like looking at other bands. Really, there's so many new bands out there. There's one called Dreaming of Citra, who a female-fronted band. I think a 5-piece from Manchester. They've done a couple of gigs for us over the years. They played at Cash 22 a few months back, but they're playing at the This Feeling Bread Shed with This Feeling and the promoters. I think it's February the 13th. It's called Big in 2026. So they're obviously probably looking to try and get them on bigger stages and stuff like that. They've got a tune called Hostage, I think it is. Bear with me. Yeah, Hostage. Really nice band, nice people, good lead singer. So very dreamy pop. I'm sure they're from Manchester way. And then I don't know too much about this band, but I know loads of people are talking about them. They're called the Slates. They're going on a tour in April. Again, with This Feeling. Really good promoter. Got a lot of nice things to say about them. They're playing at the Gorilla in Manchester, which is a great venue. And that's on April the 11th. Pretty much sold out. They're playing Sheffield, London, and Birmingham. But definitely worth checking both of them out. The Slates have got a tune called Understand the Groove, so definitely get onto that. Just a bit of other music I would listen to this week. Lucy Rose, who's been around for years, very sort of chilled, acoustic-y stuff, but she's got a tune called Scared of Loving Wild again. I'll put it in the chat. And then I've been getting into Royston Club, who are a band that we spoke about on the podcast. My good friend Christian Ditchfield has told me about an EP they released in 2021, and one of the tunes is called Infatuated, so definitely worth checking out. A bit of a story on that one. But yeah, no, it's good time for indie music, mate. There's lots of new bands coming. Some people will say it's down to Oasis reforming, but I think that's just bollocks. I think it's just there's always been a good indie scene. We're back at Cash on February 26th, so just sorting the lineup out now. So
you have to keep us posted on and who you've got on, so we can put well. So yeah, two brilliant bands, Ian, and two good shout outs for us. Appreciate it. As always, we'll get it on the play. As Feeney says when he's on it, he says we'll get it on the playlist and get it on the Spotify, so it's on there.
You can say I'm the world's busiest man. Feeney's up and down the country selling, I don't know what he does, shampoo or tea towels or something. I don't know what he does, but he's busier than me.
Do you want me to tell you the funny story while he's not on the podcast? We're in a predicted competition. So, Kurt, you might like this, where there's about 140 people in it, and each week the guy who organised it puts 10 matches on. You've got to pick the matches. So if you get the result right, either win, lose or draw, you get 3 points. If you nail the actual score, you get 5 points. So I'm not doing too bad this season. I'm up to about 30. If I have done well 1 or 2 of the seasons, Feeney's not doing too good in it. But this week he scored no points. So after 10 matches, you can edit this out if you listen to me once. Out of 10 matches, Kurt, he got 10 wrong. What do you think about that?
That's pretty good. That's tough to do. There's this big competition I enter in the NFL every year, and you pick 5 spreads every week, and it's a decent amount of money to get in, but they give out a decent amount of money, but they always give a good chunk of money to the person who comes in last place. So you get to a point halfway through where you're like, man, this might finish last place, and you got to figure out if you just keep going with what you're doing or you change it up and hope that you just keep losing games. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So if ever you have a bad week on your betting, to know you're on this journey from getting from the dollar to the $1 million, if ever you have a bad week, just think that Paul predicted 10 matches wrong in one day.
I'll have to make sure I remember. Can always be worse.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, lads, I've got nothing else to cover off tonight, but great to catch up as always. Anything you lads want to cover?
No, all good. As I say, try and get down the next 2 Sundays if you can. It'd be great to see you. And then I'll get you a chip butty after the game.
Go on, as long as you get me the chip butty though, yeah?
No problem, yeah. I'll sort that out.
All right, listen, lads, great seeing you. Have a good evening. Enjoy the footy tonight, and let's see Liverpool Marseille tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a win.
Take care. See you, lads.
All the best, boys.
Bye.
Well, I can feel the earth begin to move, and my knees will hit the roof. Spiral through another day, and my song begin to say, kiss me when the sun don't shine. The past is yours, but the future's mine. You're all out of time.